prices are probably coming down, not only in Danang, but throughout Southeast Asia. So if you guys are people that are interested in traveling more, or you guys didn't do the revenge traveling, you guys have still stayed over in the USA or wherever your country is, maybe this is the time for you guys to come out. Maybe this is your shot. What's up, guys? So it looks like the rainy season here in Danang is almost upon us, if not upon us. If you guys can see the clouds and the sky, it doesn't look too sunny or beach friendly. But the thing is, this might be the perfect time for some people. Now, not only is it going to be good for people that don't want crowds, don't want a lot of tourists around, and also budget or frugal travelers, this might be a perfect time to come check out the city of Da Nang, Vietnam. But I also have some good news. I was just kind of randomly checking a website, a flight tracker called Skyscanner. I highly recommend you guys use it. And I noticed flights are getting extremely cheap. And I was blown away because what happened was I was looking at going from Da Nang to Bangkok, which normally costs, I don't know, 120 or 130 US dollars for a round trip ticket. And I noticed that basically that same ticket was like $95. And I was like, what's going on? What the hell? Why is it so cheap? And I couldn't figure out what it was. So I started doing a little bit of research. And I always knew Kuala Lumpur was basically the cheapest city to go round trip from Da Nang to Kuala Lumpur, because I've always checked because of the visa runs. But I looked into it, I kind of like, oh, okay, for some reason Bangkok must be lowering prices and encouraging tourists. So I couldn't figure it out, but a couple days went by and I looked up another ticket. I looked up how cheap it would be to go from San Francisco to Manila. I looked up how cheap it would be to go from San Francisco to Vietnam or Thailand. And I noticed one thing. They were cheap, cheaper than I've ever seen. And I was like, what's going on? I was like, this doesn't make any sense. In fact, this is what really drew my attention. So I booked a one-way ticket from Da Nang to Manila about 3 weeks ago, because I'm going to do my visa run. Me and Fluffy are going to the Philippines to do the visa run. And I paid $125, I think, for a one-way ticket to the Philippines. And I noticed, I was like, okay, that's a little expensive, at least for what I'm used to. And what I noticed when I checked Skyscanner from San Francisco to Manila, it was a shocking $240 one way. And I was like, whoa, $100 more to go that far from the USA to Manila? But then I kind of checked into it. I looked and I said, what airline is this? And it popped up. An airline I've never heard of before. It's called China Southern Airlines. Now, I have heard of it, but I haven't seen it on Skyscanner in a long time. So I was like, whoa, what's going on? And now it ties me back to earlier, maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, post-pandemic. Actually, 5 years ago, post-pandemic. And I noticed back then, all the Chinese airlines were always the cheapest routes. It would be the Chinese airlines, it would be Air Asia, Vietjet, places like that. But when COVID hit, the Chinese airline companies kind of got out of the business, and they've been kind of shut down during the post-COVID era. So what happened is a lot of these airlines picked up the slack from China's airlines. So China kind of left the market and they weren't involved anymore. So what happened is like Vietjet, Air Asia, Vietnam Air, like all these places picked up China's old routes, but they didn't pick up China's prices. I don't want to say price gouged, but they definitely charged a lot more money than what these Chinese companies were charging. So what I've noticed is not only was Bangkok, Manila, and Thailand overall but having these China Southern Airlines now as being their cheapest routes, this is kind of telling me China is back in the game. China is now opening up the market and getting back to their old routes, which is great for budget or travelers that like to have cheap flights. So let me go pop in here to Moon Milk real quick, and then we'll pick up this conversation as soon as we're done. Any of you planning a trip to Danang in the next 60 days? Well, don't hesitate to book a 30-minute video consultation with me to settle in smoothly. During this call, I'll provide personalized advice and answer any of the questions you have about traveling or living in Danang. So don't hesitate, the link is in the description below. So as we were saying, the shift is now in effect, at least on the options of different flights. So now we're gonna start hearing from these different Chinese flight routes or flight companies that are gonna give us cheaper and more options, which is great, especially someone like me, because now I can start taking these visa runs possibly through the air instead of the bus, which, don't get me wrong, I still do enjoy the bus. It is the quickest and cheapest option as of now. But with cheaper flights, who knows what can happen. Now, the second thing that we're gonna talk about that I've kind of studied up about was jet fuel price. And supposedly the jet fuel price has went down since the past 2 or 3 years. So I don't really know too much about this topic, but jet fuel definitely does play a part in the aspect of cheaper tickets. If you guys ever go purchase a ticket, you'll see at the bottom, it'll say something like jet price fuel surcharge. It blew me away when I was looking at a ticket that I purchased, and it had like the ticket price, it had the international fee, it had the, I think it was called like a local tax, and it had a jet price fuel tax. And I was like, wait a second, what the hell does the price of the ticket include then? So when you look at a price of a ticket, it's basically just the seat, which is crazy, because when you think of, hey, I'm gonna go buy a XYZ, whatever your product is, they don't charge you for extra things on top of that. So it's just a little bit different, but supposedly jet price fuel has went down. So that's gonna play a little factor with the China Airlines popping back into the market, jet price fuel kind of balancing out or at least going back down. No real reason that I know of, but I haven't done a lot of research of why it's went down, but that is another good thing. That's the second aspect. Now, the third reason why I kind of believe that prices, at least ticket prices, have went down is due to seasonality. So different seasons are gonna bring different types of crowds, different types of people, and different amounts of people. So right now, you could say this is maybe the start of rainy season. You guys see, once again, the skies are not too sunny, not too clear. And we just are starting to hit a rainstorm. It rained, lightning, thundered pretty hard last night. So I kind of think we're at least on the verge of the winter rainy season. I don't know if it's technically started yet. It's it's August 27th. And usually the rainy season doesn't start till September. Last year it started around October. So now this is just maybe either just a little quick storm, and then rainy season will start in another couple of weeks, or this is technically the official start of the rainy season. I kind of think it's going to be a few weeks away, but I can't 100% say. I can only base it off of last year, which rainy season started late. We're down here at the market. It is a little bit later, and just like fruits or different produce, things come in season and out of season. And right now would be considered the out of season time to travel, because a lot of people are going to want to come to Danang and they're going to want to go into the beach. They're going to want to have clear skies, take nice sunny pictures. And right now, unless you guys are from Seattle or places that love the rain and the cloudy weather, this is not going to be the best rainy season for you guys. So that's going to be something to think about, because there's those different, I guess, seasons and options that you guys might want to check out. So just to recap what we've discussed so far, we have China entering the market to lower the prices. We have the jet fuel prices being lowered or going lower over time, and seasonality. So those are the three biggest aspects. Now here's a subjective one that I would kind of talk about. The revenge traveling, I think, is over, or it's at least being limited, and people are kind of maybe over it. Now, when I say revenge traveling, I mean all those people that were pent up during COVID, and they're just kind of like, hey, you know what? We wanted to go out and go party. We wanted to go YOLO. We wanted to go see these new countries. We were locked up in our living rooms, or we were locked up in our co-working spaces, and we're tired of it. So those people kind of went out, and it kind of seemed like that trend was going to last forever. But in reality, I don't think it did. I think people kind of went out, kind of traveled for 2 years, maybe 2 years, 3 years, depending on how early they went out. And then they kind of just got tired of it, or they ran out of money, or they got another job, or their life kind of changed. In different parts of your life, you like different things, and maybe at a certain point, some of those people got tired, ran out of money, or some kind of aspect changed. So for me, I think those 4 things are probably what are affecting the prices. Like we said, China entering the market, lowering the prices down. The jet fuel prices have went down. Also, the seasonality of right now being the rainy season in Danang. And then the revenge traveling has kind of died down. Maybe not went away, but it's died down. Those are the big aspects of why I think right now prices are probably coming down, not only in Danang, but throughout Southeast Asia. So if you guys are people that are interested in traveling more, or you guys didn't do the revenge traveling, you guys have still stayed over in the USA or wherever your country is, maybe this is the time for you guys to come out. Maybe this is your shot. Like I said, the tickets are like $240 one way over to from the USA, from San Francisco to Manila, or even to Thailand, or even to Ho Chi Minh. So this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to get out and start traveling. Maybe it's a little bit late for the people that first got out, but it's not too late for you guys or a lot of other people. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. We're close to 10,000 subscribers. Even Fluffy wants you to subscribe. So once again, happy travels.